All right, you all. I am coming back to you here on the Freedmen channel. Today we have a special guest, and I'm interviewing her because she has some great expertise and knowledge to pass on to us here on the Freedmen channel. And it's dealing with the workforce, right? We have Miss Tara Frazier with us today. She's going to go over some things with the workforce and what she see is happening so that we can prepare our youth ongoing going forward for these different jobs that are coming up. And we know with Trump in the golden age, we need to make sure our children are in these spaces and we are helping to prepare our people to take advantage of these opportunities that will be coming forth. So, without any more, I'll let Miss Tara introduce herself and give you all background in what she's doing and her expertise.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm here in Florida, and I'm so happy to be here. So glad to speak to everyone about this. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Okay.
I don't see you, but that's okay. We're all of a sudden it went out on us.
Yeah. Okay. I've been working for the Central Florida workforce for 20 years now. So, and I started from the bottom and worked my way up through as a career coach, career consultant, working with youth and young adults aging from 16 to 24 years old. Okay, and then I found out that was like a great passion of mine to work with these young people. And then when I moved back from Florida, I also lived in Atlanta. I should have told that story first. When I graduated high school, I went to Atlanta, attended design school, attended Clark for business administration, but I loved fashion. I loved design. And so I started doing, a lot of events and parties and everything when I lived in Atlanta. And then I was also working my corporate job at IBM as well. Okay. And so life, just moved around throughout life. And then I end up coming back home to Florida, applying for the workforce development, and where I started my career in 2005 with the workforce. Okay. And just found out that was a passion of mine, working with young adults, youth in high school. And the reason why I loved it so much, because at the time in my community, where I moved back to, I was working with a lot of my classmates' children, and a lot of them who didn't have the knowledge and know about the resources that was out there for our people. So I'm like, wow, a lot of things when you're working with the workforce, everything is at no cost to any business, to any parents, that no cost, right? These are your tax dollars. Okay. So as a career consultant, I work, with them. I was the youth coordinator, event coordinator for the county, planning all types of trips and college tours and business exploration tours, and hosting graduations and all kinds of events, I did. But, and as I moved along, I worked in one county for 11 years. And then I wanted to move, out of my county and go and to do more, bigger, broader things with the workforce. So I left and came up into the Orlando area, which is outside of my hometown. And I've been there for 10 years now, and and I'm learning a lot. I'm working right now with the business team, so I'm like a talent fulfillment business recruiter. So I work a lot with businesses around the Central Florida, and within Central Florida, we work with all 5 counties, which is Seminole County, Orange County, Osceola County, Lake County, and Sumter County. Okay, and so working on the business side of things, I work with businesses who we look for to contract with the Central Florida workforce, so we can place the job seekers that we're working with on internships, on OJTs, apprenticeships, just a whole list of things we can do. And then we partner with a lot of technical schools, a lot of colleges, where the workforce can also help out with funding, to place youth through training. Okay. All right. And then in the midst of me working with the workforce, I was starting my business the whole time, working with events. From ground zero, I bought a linen business when I moved back to Florida to go along with my event planning. And so the linen business that I found this guy, I just Googled it, and it just came up on my Google. So I went and researched this linen company, and I just bought the company, and it went well with my business. So I was selling chair covers, tablecloths, and all kinds of things to hotels and restaurants, event planners back in, this was like 2005, 2008. Between that time I bought that company, and my business things just blew up. Okay. And during the 2008, 2009, when we went through that transition, everything, a lot of people was getting laid off, losing homes or whatever. My business, became stagnant. A lot of people didn't want to buy those linens. They wanted to rent it. So then my business just transitioned into a rental company, because a lot of people, they wanted, to rent these items. Then they wanted me to decorate, a lot of the hotel managers wanted me to come in and decorate, and it just took off. It just blew up. And so I started looking for a place to where people could see me outside. So I found the building, and I was in that building for 8 years while still raising my son, working my job, with the workforce, and the business just took off. And then right at, the beginning of the pandemic, during the shutdown, everything just changed for me. I was getting ready to move into my event center, to expand and to grow, where I could host events, people could rent from me the building, and everything just changed for me. And all that hard work, I just felt like, wow. But in the midst of that, I still kept my job. I'm still here at the workforce. And then I just really, during the time of the pandemic, I just started looking at a lot of things during this shutdown, and during, the previous administration, how, the influx of people that was coming into the workforce, getting benefits, and getting vouchers for housing, childcare, and a host of things. And then the light bulb just went off, and I just started just researching and looking, taking note of everything that was going on around me. That, and so, and
Oh,
you hear me?
yeah, I can hear. Do you have your camera? Did your camera go off too?
Oh man.
Yep,
No,
your camera went
I can,
off, but I didn't want to interrupt you, but you're doing great.
I can
You,
see you.
I
Can
can't,
you
all
hear
of a
me?
sudden you went out and I didn't want to remove you. Let's see.
Oh God, it's probably this Wi-Fi. I don't know. It keeps
Well,
going
that's
here.
okay. If it's going in and out, that's fine. I was thinking I'll remove you and bring you back, but
You still can't see me?
I still can't see you. As soon as we started recording, you went out.
Wow. You think I can get on my phone?
Yes, you can get
Okay.
on your phone. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me try that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, you all, we had a little hiccup. That's the technology. That's what happens, but we got her back. And Miss Tara, I did not want to interrupt you because you were doing such a great job in explaining and
Okay.
expressing your expertise. So that's perfect.
So I need to, did you hang up? Okay, there we go.
Yes, I removed that, and
Can
then
you hear
now
me?
we're back at it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna have to refresh my memory
No,
where we
you
were.
were talking about how you after 2019 you had to go back. You still had your job, but you were already in
Mhm.
that space. So then, because you to COVID, you lost your business, and now you're still working
Mhm.
with the workforce. Correct?
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, in the midst of me, still holding on, working for the workforce, and, just my goals was to, when my son graduated from high school in 2022, I would have been out of the workforce running my business full time, things that, that business I worked so hard at, invested my money, all my dollars into building this business throughout the years. And it just really took a toll on me during the shutdown, and just to see the influx of people coming into this country getting handed things left and right. um just I mean it just it was just like crazy. And I'm trying to educate people and talk to other people to tell them this is what's going on. This is what I'm seeing, but everybody was so wrapped up in this administration,
Mm.
and looking at Trump as this person. And I'm like, and I'm trying to tell them what I'm seeing. People are coming in with photo IDs, social security cards, and I'm like, how are you guys getting this? I usually don't work with the job seekers that come in, but one day I decided, I said, let me help them out. Let me see if they need any resume help or whatever. So one day I just went in the resource room, working with them, answering questions. I mean, we were just flooded with these people, the immigrants coming in every day. And when I was working with them these days, I was asking them, well, when did you get here? And I'm looking on their resume, and it just, and this was like back in 2023, these people just, it was like 6 months ago. You was somewhere else and you're here.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get
Mm.
photo ID? How did you get
Mm-hmm.
this? And it was just mind blowing to me. And then I would never forget what really just took me out. I went, I was sent to do a host an event and hand out all kinds of pamphlets and flyers and all types of materials to give information about the workforce. And I was sent to just this gorgeous hotel here. Um, and I was sent there, but found out I was at the wrong event.
Mm.
And but I stayed, set up my table. Me and a coworker of mine, we set up our table anyway because we thought we were, being that I work with young adults and job seekers, I thought that I was going to run into a lot of young people, a lot of job seekers, just to give them this information. Find out it was like so many different charter bus coming in, dropping off loads and loads of people at this hotel in this banquet room that we were in. Um, it was everybody from all types of ethnicities inside this room, and everybody was just rushing, bomb rushing our table because we had bags and cups and a boatload of merchandise and materials to give out. But to give out as you're getting information, nobody was interested in getting no information. All they wanted was free, free, free. We want free, free, free. And they was
all from all over the world. So, and then what I found out, and I'm like, the light bulb went off. I say, so these are their so-called elite people coming from these different countries. And so what they're doing, because I don't know if I can say it, the Orlando public schools were involved and connected, and with these technical programs were connected with these groups of people, and the agenda was to get these people up to speed so they could be advocating for their people who they were bringing in. Okay. And so
Mm.
these were their so-called people. These supposed to have been their teachers coming from I don't know, Afghan, China, Jamaica, Africa, wherever. I mean, and you can see because everybody was in their own pool of, with their own group, right? At
Enclaves
this
like they do.
at
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right. And so, but nobody was interested. They could barely speak English, real. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
could speak well to translate for their people, but they really had a hardcore accent. Um, so, but they were like bum rushing the table. They wanted free, free, free. They didn't want to get information like that. Um, so, and then I just, and so later on, so this was like the end of 2023. This was like November, around this, yeah, November. And so the beginning of 2024, um, no, this was like a whole 2023. We host hiring events for different big corporations, small businesses, large businesses. So as we're doing these hiring events, we started seeing, and I started noticing, I'm like, okay, these people are being led, by these groups that were at this hotel that's leading these, their groups to show them, to translate for them everything that we needed them to do, documents that needed to be filled out. These people were there to translate, for this
Mm.
group, for their group of people, to show them how to get certain things, like health care, um, food stamps, assistance, anything. And then at these hiring events, I started noticing. I'm like, what is the immigration? Attorneys set up here. They got a table set up here, and I'm looking at this. Then various different nonprofits set up here, and
Mm.
I'm like, like, am I the only one seeing what's going on here? And then so I'm like, wow. And then so when Trump got into office, I noticed, Trump stopped a lot of this funding going through.
Right.
So a lot of the nonprofits were calling, with the US aid. I've started connecting all of these dots. I'm like, okay, so a lot of the nonprofits was calling, the workforce, like, we need to know what we're gonna do, how we can get funding to help, these people need help. So I'm thinking now, I'm like, okay, so these nonprofits were getting the workforce is allocated all types of funding. We get federal and state dollars. Okay.
Right.
And this money is allocated. A lot of these nonprofits can take advantage of the funding, that's coming in specifically for their people. And then I started noticing a lot of different, I didn't even know we had like different chambers for different groups. I know we had the Hispanic chamber, then we started seeing an African chamber. We started seeing all these different chambers with these different groups or nonprofits, so
Right.
right. And I'm like, wow, these people can come in and they can double dip. They could come into our Black American chambers, then they can go and they have their own source of income. I mean, source of funding as well. So
Mm.
and then what really hurt me as well. So if I back up just a little bit, around 2023, beginning of, I think it was, yeah, 2020, yeah, 2023, end of 2023. 20, because Trump just got in 2025. So the end of 2023, they were like, oh, we have no funding, we have no funding to put our young people through training, to trade school, because once the college tells, someone this is what this class is gonna pay, okay, and if we gonna and through FAFSA or whatever you get, you may have like $5,000 or $6,000 left. So when you look, and all of this is public information, you can look to see what the workforce will give out um per student or someone that's going into training for CNA, welding, or whatever. So they got all of this funding set aside for this one person. So if they, whatever the school doesn't cover, we can pick up, the cost if that program, if you're left with $3,000 or $4,000 careers, the agency or the workforce can pick up some of that funding and help you out with that. So a lot of people don't know that. So if you go through a lot of these workforces,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get a lot of assistance from them to place your child or any adult too through these training programs and get these trades, CDL, welding, and type of healthcare. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Um, so around that time, I'm like, okay, they're saying we're out of funding. We can't put nobody through training. So I'm like, where's the fund? I've been here like going on to almost 20 years at this point. So this never happened. We never, and even with the youth, the young adult side, we have like a whole shebang of funding to place people through training. And these kids was getting in all kinds of incentives, through the years that I've been working with the workforce. They were able to get incentives. We could put them through training, did all types of things, and a lot of this stuff came to a halt 2023, 2024. I mean, we were down to the wire. They were like, we don't even have it. A lot of my coworkers were getting laid off 2023, 2024, because they were like, we don't have funding. We got to see what we got to do with this, the money, see what we're gonna have. So everybody was looking, like, well, what we're gonna do. People were asked if they want to take early retirement or if they were time for retirement. Some people were, yeah, and this been going on since 2023, 2024. Some of, like, during this summer past, we've laid off, I think within, 2 months ago, at least about 15, 16 people now, because we're feeling the effects of what's been going on with the previous administration. So a lot of people, oh, it's, Trump, but I was feeling this, you know
During the Biden
um
Harris administration.
2020 Biden Harris administration. And I'm like, we were running out of funding way back then. We couldn't even service, the people that we were servicing like we
That
used
you
to.
needed the service, that
So
need the services
yeah,
is what I'm hearing. Okay,
that need the
so
services, right? But they had all kinds of funding, and help for the people that was coming in through the
yes,
back.
yes, and
So
that's what you have hit on two major things in expressing what was
mhm,
going on in your office. One, we've heard Americans talk about how they were being replaced. They were having to train, right? That some of them were talking
mhm,
about how they will have to train these people coming in and then they get laid off. Then you're also expressing
mhm,
what is happening in Chicago right now. They're laying off people but passing a budget and making sure monies have been given to the illegals, and they're saying now they don't have money for these different things, but the politicians are getting
mhm,
raises, right? And then the other thing I wanted to, you
right.
really hit the nail on the head around the time this was all taking place. So I'm going to share our screen. So, because you hit on the dates
Okay.
and the time of, you talk about Social Security numbers, right? You said that they were
Yeah.
coming in to these events with Social Security numbers. And I'm gonna share this.
Right. If
Can
they
you
want,
see it?
yeah.
This is Christy Nome.
Not yet.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna play
I
it.
see it now.
You see it now? I'm gonna play what
Okay.
she's saying. Look at the headline: 9 million Social Security numbers to illegals in 4 years. Lady,
Mm-hmm.
we can play
Yeah.
this clip.
And I'm like, and then you know,
brilliant. He's going to be
crisp,
working to make sure
What now? Go ahead.
and a fresh, crisp card, Social Security card. It was brand new. You can see it. I'm like, how are you guys getting these Social Security cards and IDs and everything? I'm like, wow. And then I noticed a lot of the DMVs, they were so packed and crowded, just lines out the door. Yeah.
Well,
So
I
go
remember
ahead.
that too in Florida because I had to go renew my driver's license. And you are correct. There will be lines and lines at all of these different places. Then they tell you to make an appointment after a certain period of time because you have to stand in line for hours just to get your driver's license renewed. It was crazy. And then come to find out, you hitting on another point that many of these DMVs had people working inside making sure those people retrieved those driver's license, and it was against the law. Yeah. We can listen to Secretary Nome, but there's hey, we gonna back up what you're saying here. Here we go. This is only a minute clip.
sure that individuals who got Social Security numbers in this country should be using them for the right things, and they shouldn't be on our benefit programs. We have over 6,000 individuals that have been identified through their work already that have been on the terrorist watch list, that they are known criminals.
How does that happen, Madam Secretary? How does that happen?
It happens when you put a train wreck like Joe Biden in the White House, and it's going to be a lot of work to clean it up. But just in the last 4.5 years, we've had over 9 million people get Social Security numbers that are not U.S. citizens. So they may be people who have some sort of legal status, but a lot of them are illegals that were given a Social Security number in just the last 4.5 years. That we're going to have to figure out if they should be here, if they are here legally under a program, and if they are here illegally, then they certainly shouldn't be using that Social Security number to be on our programs, and they should be removed or given the opportunity to go home on their own. That's the one thing President Trump would like, is everybody to be given the opportunity to go home if they would wish to.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It was real.
Yes. Everything is coming out. You were noticing everything that was happening in that moment.
Yeah, and then they had people, from other organizations that was, you have family children serve like DCF that. So we had it to where they would come into the office, because we're separate, we're tied, we connect with all these organizations because everybody have to actively be looking for employment if they're getting any type of assistance, right? Cash assistance, food stamps, or whatever. So they connect the workforce, and anybody that's coming in getting this assistance, they're in the database, they're in the state database. So they got to register, they got to put in their information, they got to tie it to, and we got to know the address. We got to look at, okay, when someone qualify to get any type of assistance with the workforce, you looking at the poverty rate, where they're living and everything. So they got to be at an income bracket, and then you got to see, okay, if they're at this income bracket, how many people they have in the household. Okay, so depending on if they got 8 or 10 people in the household and they making that, whatever person in there making 50,000, of course they gonna get distance, in there. Even if you living with someone who's receiving food stamps, you get assistance, like if it's a mother, brother, sister, cousin, and especially if a lot of these people, I noticed they had relatives that they were living with too. And
Right.
and if they were in there getting food stamps, you automatically qualify if someone in the household is receiving food stamps, so you can take part of these benefits in the programs. Hmm.
Wow.
So you
Okay.
normally would look at past, you'll look at the past 6 months. That's how we
Mhm.
work with people and qualify them to get into the program. You want to see the past 6 months of income. So if you don't have past 6 months of income, which most of them didn't, then it can help you.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
You
Okay.
heard me?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you went out again, but we I can change that up later. But so all of these
Okay.
beings, what I'm hearing you say is they were still coming in and in living in the same
Mhm.
household, the people they're living with were also receiving the benefits.
And they get benefits, right? And if they're if they if and of course, if these people, they weren't, we also look at who claimed. If it's a young person, who claimed you on your taxes, but if it's an adult, you're going to look at income, you're going to look at the area where they live. If it's a impoverished area, low income area, a lot of those things. And a lot of people, yeah, they were able to rack up on a lot of the
Mm.
services that we had, to where we couldn't even service our own citizens.
Wow. And this
It was
was
like
by
they were
design.
put, yeah, like they were the priority. That's how. And I'm like, wow, me, somebody who worked, bust my butt since I was 16 years old, went off, put myself through school, built this business, working for 20 years, at that point. And I'm looking at everything being handed to these people, and they want to tell me to work hard.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
what?
Mhm. 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 Yes.
So that, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mhm.
So yeah, so
Uh-oh.
that just every day, I'm just going in just mad, just pissed off, like wow. And the entitlement was through the roof. The
I can
entitlement,
imagine.
where they just knew, yeah, through the roof.
Well,
Yeah.
I know
And
oh, you
now
was
fast forward to
uh-huh.
hmm,
I think you went out on me.
fast
Now
forward till
fast forward.
today.
Uh-huh.
So today, with all of the things that's in place where they got to be verified on jobs now. When Trump came in, a lot of stuff changed. Whole lot of
Mm,
things changed. A lot of these, businesses, they got to, we got to know that they verifying,
mhm,
everything is going through that verified system, you know.
mhm, mhm,
I started seeing a lot of the construction that was going on. A lot of our people, a lot of citizens were getting into these construction jobs.
mhm, mhm,
Am I
mhm.
breaking up,
No, I'm hearing you. I can
or
hear
is it
you.
a
I just can't see you, but I'm
okay?
hearing you.
Oh wow.
It was up and then all of a sudden
Okay.
it went out.
Went
But
out.
uh-huh. But with that, we can just make it in
So yeah.
audio.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
when Trump came in, a lot of things, I could see where things were turning around, for the betterment of the citizens.
Mhm.
So a lot of people, a lot of the workforce, when I would go into a lot of the other career centers, it was less and less and less. They weren't coming.
Mhm.
A lot of our people were able to come in and get assistance. A lot of the centers wasn't, bombarded, with a lot of outsiders coming in trying to get these benefits. So I've seen a lot has changed, with this administration. Yeah, they're still trying to get the funding together, the funding right, but we're servicing people again, and
Mhm.
everybody is being, people are being vetted better. Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to go over a little history of the workforce because we know the workforce programs was something that was created in the 1930s, 1940s during the Depression, right? So, and I wanted to highlight how we had our ancestors that were not even elected officials considered under we call the Black Cabinet were right there advocating for us to be a part of these workforce programs. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. And that is how we have these programs set up for specifically for us, right? And they're supposed to be working for us, and they are now changing up things so that the in Biden-Harris administration, the illegals, aliens can come in and take advantage of them. And they were not even legal citizens to even take advantage of these programs.
Right. That's
And so, well, I'll let people know the Black Cabinet. It refers to an unofficial group of African American advisors to President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the New Deal era, which is during the Depression, and they advocated for our Black American or Negro freedmen to receive fair access to New Deal jobs, relief opportunities, and they began pushing for civil rights and some integration there, laying the groundwork for future movements through their efforts and anti-discrimination clauses and in employment initiatives. So I wanted to highlight that because we're being moved out as citizens that have been in these programs and been taking advantage of these programs for what, centuries, decades, what? How long? 70, 80 years now?
Yeah. 80 years, all right. 70, 80 years.
And you
and
highlighted
so,
another.
And then if you go.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say
and
you highlighted
you know what we were
another
talking
issue
about.
too.
Right. So what the workforce, anybody that we service through the workforce, we got to go by the equal, opportunity law. And it says it is against the law for recipients of federal financial assistance to be discriminated against on the basis of race, color, creed, religion, disability, political affiliation, or belief on the basis of participant status. Okay, the Section 188 of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014. A lot of people will hear the name WIOA. That's the Workforce Innovative Opportunity Act. It also prohibits discrimination against certain non-citizens. This put in place in 2014. Prohibits discrimination against certain non-citizens participation in programs and activities receiving funds under this title shall be available to citizens and nationals of the United States. Okay. Lawfully admitted permanent resident aliens, refugees, asylees, and parolees and other immigrants authorized by the Attorney General to work in the United States. And they put this in place. This came about in 2014. So I'm like,
And 2014 is when was Obama in office? Yeah. Right? Didn't he
in
do
2014,
Yes, what Obama's
he did
term was?
2 terms.
Yes. Let's look. I think those because even Negro, he removed Negro during his term. So he was in 2009 to 2017. 2 terms. Yes.
So 2009,
Yeah, so he won in
when he was
2008.
in.
Yes, he won in 2008. So then he goes into office in 2009, and then he served back to back, which means he was there until the 2018, and then Trump came in after that.
Yep. So it says illegals. I mean aliens, illegal aliens, asylees, parolees, and other immigrants are authorized. So it's like, what were you doing? What were y'all planning for? Putting things in place, I don't know.
Mhm. Well, I think
Mhm.
everything we've been noticing, everything leads back to Obama, with a lot of things that happened in 2024, right? With the president,
Mhm.
with Biden. It was like
Right.
Obama had those 8 years, and we know that he claimed he was, at the time they said he did deport a lot of illegals, but then he also
Mhm.
created DACA for the
Right.
children to stay, right? And then he also removed
Mhm.
Negro from our lexicon, or along with
Mhm.
Grace Bing and Hakeem Jeffries. And then
Mhm.
we had him make sure there was an Asian Pacific Islander office set up, did he not? During
Right.
that time.
I remember.
So, and then he also got Osama bin Laden during that time. So it was a lot happening with
Mhm.
Obama, in that he was not doing anything specifically for us as the freedmen, even though he won the majority of our vote.
Yeah.
And he was setting still, even though
Right.
he was making it seem like he was doing certain things for the, to keep the illegals out, he was still also putting in place the legalizing same-sex marriages, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was
Right.
this balancing act of, to me, when I look back, he was trying to balance the act and make it seem like, oh, he's not this, bad president. He's been balanced, but out of the equation, we're left out of everything, and everybody else of immigrant
Everything.
status, yeah, they were getting
Right.
legislation.
Yeah.
Same-sex marriages. I don't think that's the majority of Americans.
Mhm. Right.
You know what I mean? We never had that before.
Right. Right.
Let
Wow.
me see. I know he set up that office of Asian Pacific Islanders uh, affairs office. I do believe it came under his presidency. Let's see.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that a lot when that happened. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yep, it was him. During
Mhm.
his presidency, Barack Obama engaged frequently with the Bureau of East Asian Pacific Islanders within the U.S. Department and the Department of Foreign Affairs, and he decided, yes, he set up that White House initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. He reestablished the office by executive order in 2009
Mhm.
to address the issues concerning AAPI community within the United States, focusing
Wow.
on
Yep.
areas such as data disaggregation, language access, and workforce diversity.
See, and you know what? Now, back then during that administration, that's when, my home base office is inside of a college. Well, we have like an off building from the college, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
now, in 2023, 2024, it was a lot of people coming in from different countries. There these young people that was there that they was sending through school. I don't know, they were coming in. I was asking some of them. They were coming in exploring different careers, and they were from other places like Italy. I remember talking to young man. I was like, "Where are you guys from?" It would be like a big group of them, and he was like, "Oh, we're from Italy." And they had these English classes set up for a lot of. And I'm like, "What is going? It's so much going on in here," and I just saw a lot of people from all over coming in these classes, like young people that didn't even
Mm.
speak English, but they had classes set up for them. Hmm.
See,
Classes set up
that's
for
just so not
them
right,
that they were.
because right. I mean,
Yeah.
he was condescending about to black men. You remember he had that whole event, and started that little program for black boys or something, right? But still at the same time,
I remember that.
there's no concern about black men that need jobs because unemployment rate. You know what? You just hitting on something. What's the unemployment rate for black people with Obama during his presidency?
During his term?
Yes.
I remember they was talking about what he inherited from who was it? Bush.
Right.
They want to talk about that unemployment rate.
In the pandemic, it peaked to 16.8% in May in 2020, just an FYI. They said when Trump took office in 2017, the rate was 7.8%. They said it went a record low in August and September of 2019 with Obama, but that's during his last term or last months. You see where I'm going? Before Trump took office, it says during his presidency, Donald Trump saw the Black American unemployment rate reach a record low of 5.3% in August and September of 2019 before it surged dramatically again in the COVID-19 pandemic. So they had all of those. You're hitting on, this is what I'm saying. You're hitting on all the points in the workforce and how we were being replaced. Right?
Right.
With the illegal.
Right. Right.
And yeah. And they and it all started
And that was
with Obama in a way.
Yeah, that was the agenda. To me, it seemed like around that time when I saw all those people at the hotels and everything, they were trying to, my thinking was, this is us, this is a great replacement. Get these people with skills to put into a lot of these jobs and everything, open up these big hiring events that we were having, letting them come in. I mean, you just had to be there to see this. A lot of my coworkers were complaining because these people had language barriers. They still are, very slightly right now. Just language barriers. They would be so upset. It was crazy. It's dwindled down since 2025. You get them in here and there. A lot of Venezuelans, a lot of Haitians coming through. Yeah. Um, but they keep complaining about this language barrier. And then I remember somebody was like, "Oh, we need to get somebody to, to translate this, to speak." I'm like, no, we're not about to do that anymore. We're not doing that. And I remember this lady, she was like, yeah. And she was like, "Well,
why
we
are
need
we
to
paying
have
for them to
Spanish,
learn how to speak?
speak Spanish." That's what I asked her. I was like, "Well, so who's paying for the youth, the kids that want to learn Spanish? Are we paying for those classes?" And I was talking to a lady about that. She just got quiet. I'm like, "You're advocating for them to have English classes, or what are the ones that need Spanish classes? Are we paying for that?" And she got quiet about it. So
We have this
yeah.
goes back, like you speaking about the workforce and unemployment. I'm looking at a chart from the Department of Labor Statistics, right? And so they have from 2015 to 2025. I can share my screen. Let me share my screen. Although I know this is just going to be an audio for most people when we post it on the Freedmen channel. But just so we can dialogue right now about it. You can see how over the 10-year span, it's always us with the unemployment, with the high rates of unemployment. You see that?
Right.
And 2015, Obama was in office. Was he not? Yep. 2012.
Yeah.
And those are some of the highest rates, but nobody highlights this. Now, I think Trump came in 2016. So you got here, it did start dropping with Trump. That's what it's signifying. Right? And that's what they were saying. By the time he was going out of office, our unemployment rate went from in 2015 to almost 10% or 8-9% to by the time Trump was leaving office, it was back to 6.
Wow.
Right? Yep. Then 2020 happened with
Right.
COVID-19, right? 2020 they shut down. Look at our rate. Yeah.
12, 10, yeah. Uh-huh.
And that's when they started bringing in. That's when they started bringing in all those illegals, right? They started getting
Look,
them and putting them in
April.
position.
Yeah. Look, April, May, I mean,
Look at it for the last 4 years, right?
16.9%.
Yeah.
Wow.
It went down in 2023. And it was barely 6% in 2023. And in 2024, it was good until it still was overall, it was still pretty good.
It's still, yeah.
Yeah, about 6%. Yeah. So now, and this is where it's going back up. It's hovering around 6, 7, but we know Trump is doing some different things now and removing certain people out of office and spaces so that we can make sure that our people are employed. So I look at that as transitional, and I foresee this could be going back down next year, right?
Right. We're going through a transition.
We're going through a transition. Yeah.
Trying to clean up a lot of things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just want, a lot of people to know that, we don't take advantage of the workforce, and it's more to it than just the Department of Labor getting employment, but they have all types of resources there that your kids who's getting out of school that don't know what they want to do. Those are the ones that I like to find, the ones that are staying around, in their hometowns, or they're not going off to college or whatever. They can, the workforce can connect you with these trade programs, can go into these community colleges, then you can transfer where I work, they come in, and then they automatically get transferred after 2 years, after they complete their 2 years, to UCF. So yeah, but if you find, so a lot of the workforce, they help out a whole lot, and then that's what I try to tell these young people, just go, through it like that. If you don't have the funding and you're staying home, and then the workforce, we can also put you on an internship. And that's where I come in. I can place you on an internship, connect you with an apprenticeship, or on the job training as you're going through school. If you like whatever industry that you are interested in, I go out and I locate those businesses and those industries, where I can have someone to transition, or they can get their foot in the door with the 12-week internship. It's no cost to the business, no cost to the youth, the workforce pay the wage for 12 weeks. We just need the businesses to train them. Okay. And then they may open up, oh, I like this guy, I'm going to hire them. So that happens all the time. And then they have a job. And then a lot of these companies, corporations, they have tuition reimbursement. So if you want to go to school, use them to put you through school.
As we should, right? Because
Them
those
to,
are
right.
those are our rewards, our benefits. So why not?
And these programs, like I tell people, these programs are our tax. We run off of the taxpayers' money. These are your tax dollars. So go in there and make these people work for you. It's your
Right.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get this information because they should be giving you this information, but you got certain people giving information to certain people, and it's not really getting out to the community like it
Mm-hmm.
should. We go through that all the time. Go back into the schools, back into the guidance counselors, back into the businesses, because a lot of people transition, move around, so the information get lost or it's not communicated. So I mean, even for the veterans, they get first come, first, I mean, through the door. They're the number one priority coming through the door.
Oh,
But
nice.
what was going on, they're the number one priority. They're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a high alert when you get a veteran walking through the door. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was going on that past administration. you know, it was, yeah,
The
we have
great
like a veteran
replacement
program for
is
the
real.
veterans.
Yes,
Mhm.
that great replacement is real, right? People didn't
Yeah.
want to believe it.
Yeah.
But people were saying,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Mhm.
conspiracy theory. And look at us right now after this
Right.
administration is out of office.
Right. It
So,
was very real. Very real.
well, Miss Tara, I really
Mhm.
appreciate it. This is great
Okay.
information. And
Well,
this is why I wanted to interview you and put you
okay.
on the Freedmen channel, because then people can understand how workforce organizations, or they're an extension of our government, right? And our tax-paying dollars go into these workforce
Right.
programs. And that we should be very
Right.
actively engaged in going to these offices and seeing how they can benefit us in our
Right.
communities, and especially our children and our youth.
Exactly.
Yeah. When our
Yes.
children say, I can't find a
Mhm.
job, we should be directing them to these workforce offices.
Or exactly. That's
Hmm.
exactly what we should be doing, because we even have the summer youth programs for them. And yeah, that's what we should be
How old is
doing. They
the
have
summer
all
youth
kinds of programs,
program? How old
especially
do they have to be?
we 14, like with we have this thing like with the 14, 15 year olds, we put them in a program like called, okay, engage and explore. So them we're working on, they getting them engaged into different industries. The explore part for the 15, 16 year olds, where they may go on the different trips to explore companies to see what's going on as a semiconductor, or we work with the industries, the high growth industries, healthcare, IT, finance, manufacturing, hospitality. What's the other one I missed? Hospitality, healthcare, um, and construction. Yeah, construction. So they toured them. We find all these big corporations, like right now, while they're in school, we have a program called High School Express, where we go into pick a few high schools, take like 25 or 30 students out of these schools, and where they can explore these big corporations, just to give them the exposure that they need. Because a lot of times, when I was really going into the schools a lot, a
Hmm.
lot of the kids didn't know what they wanted to do. And then when I would leave after the end of my presentation, they would be running up to the door like, Miss Tara, you got a car, got a card, we want to connect with you. So they would, my heart would just go out, because I'm like, they didn't know, they really didn't know, and their parents may not know, and then
Hmm.
once I go in there and I talk about the resources that are available to them, if they want to take a trade, want to go to college, or whatever, let's start like this. and
Hmm.
um and I think that's why I was so just so passionate, but like, so passionate about that, because this is our future.
Yes, it
And
is.
we got to start there and get these kids exposed, because back in 20, when I went to the Orlando area, it was 2016. So from
Hmm.
2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. We had stopped working with the in-school kids. We were more focused on they told us we needed to focus more on that population of 18 to 24. So
Mm.
we had stopped working, going to the high schools. But then what happened? That changed because they were like, oh, we got the baby boomers are retiring. Social media is booming.
Mm.
A lot of people, all this entrepreneurship, everything is going on. We need, and then people are retiring, leaving. We don't have enough people coming out of school trained or not even are coming out of trade programs with skills already. So that's when, honey, they were like, okay, we got to go back into the high schools, get those the 18, that 17, 18, 19-year olds that are coming out of school. We need to go talk to them about the workforce, capture those ones
Mm.
that do not know what they want to do, so we can put these resources and invest into them, so we can line them up with these companies
Mm-hmm.
with those skill sets, them trained. So I started seeing, I said, okay, but you took out all of those programs, shop classes, welding classes,
Really did.
through high school. You remember? Yeah,
Yes.
through the years, and they saw that was like a big mistake. And honey, they they were running to these schools lately trying to get these kids trained and get them exposed right now.
Yes.
That's what's
And
going on.
I remember growing up having out of bounds, and all these different programs where we could work.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
And even if it was for
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks during the summer, you were learning something. And then even if you were
You were learning.
volunteering in some ways and then still getting paid or stipend.
Right.
Um, it was, I
Exactly.
enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Outward bound. We still have those programs around.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay.
So,
Well,
but
I got
yeah.
a 14-year-old that is looking to work this summer. We thought we were going to be able to
Uh-huh.
have him to work this past summer, right? He turned 14 in May of this year. So we
Okay.
had him to go to, I think it was Publix and some other stores,
Okay.
that will hire 14-year-olds, but ended up not getting hired. So this
Right.
year we want to make sure he's in something, because he did travel a little bit,
Right.
but we're like, this year, no, you're going to go do something, and this is just perfect. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why I wanted to make sure people understand these programs
Plus,
are still
yeah.
available for our children. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
Publix is huge here in Florida because the home base is here. George Jenkins was the owner or the founder of Publix. He have a high
mm,
school here in Lakeland named after him. So we tour Publix a lot. Publix had make their own a lot of their own products, their milk, ice cream, everything
oh,
there. So
yes.
that's so they are a big sponsor. Matter of fact, we just toured Public like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
But the
wow.
big headquarters is out of Lakeland, Florida. But Publix, two of their grocery stores are in my hometown. The very first ones are in Polk County. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. All right, lady.
Yeah.
I guess we said we do an hour. We'll go
Right.
ahead and get
Okay.
ready to shut it down. I really appreciate
Okay.
you
All
being
right.
able to
Thank you
come
for
and
having me.
yes, ma'am. We're gonna do it again though. This
Yeah.
is not your first and only time.
Okay. I'm ready. Okay.
We have a
All
lot to
right.
talk about.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you have
Yes.
any other
Yes,
words
I
before
enjoyed it.
huh?
No, just the words that I would like to leave, just get into to tell our people, and spread the word to get into these workforces, get this information, see what resources are out there and how you can pass this information to your family and friends and the kids out there. So
Yes, ma'am.
that.
That's what we want to do. And this is going on the Freedmen channel, so you all
Okay.
subscribe. Uh-huh. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Miss
Oh,
Tara,
I
what
already
did you say?
subscribed. I already subscribed.
Okay, make
I said,
and
yeah.
share.
Oh, you saying for them to subscribe?
For them to subscribe, share,
Yes,
and
y'all
make sure, you
subscribe.
know what? Yeah, your family, anybody can come listen to this anytime. Because we got the Freedmen YouTube channel. It's
Right.
up and running. Yes, ma'am. All
Right.
right, we'll appreciate you, and
Okay.
I'll look
Thank
forward to
you.
doing this again. Oh,
You're
you're
welcome.
welcome. All right.
Okay.
All right, for you all. We'll be
Thank
back.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you too. Bye. Oh, okay. Oh.